Hi everyone, this is Mary from Casing the Cover. Before we get started with today's episode, I just wanted a few quick notes at the beginning of the episode. You will hear us talking, probably in this episode and some of the coming episodes and a few of the past episodes, about an event we have coming up, a live show at Leprechaun. We record our episodes in advance. Most of our episodes are kind of in the can right now, haven't gone out yet. We record them when Jen and I both have time to get together and record. And most of the episodes coming out in the next couple months are ones we recorded, before the world was ending. So obviously those events are no longer going on. Leprechaun has been canceled, as have our panels at that convention. So if you were planning on joining us at one of those, please keep in mind that those aren't going on right now. As well as, our mentions of going to your library and things like that. You might be in a position like we are where your local library is closed right now. To that point, I just want to recommend that if you are stuck at home right now, if you're bored out of your mind, if you want access to some different things, there are a lot of book websites, things like Audible, I think, has a deal going on right now that are offering free books, free memberships, long trials, where you can get access to some content to keep you from going crazy at home. Also, check your local library anyway. Your buildings may be closed, but I know at our library, we have a ton of digital resources. So check your local library. A lot of libraries let you make a card online and use it to check out audiobooks, ebooks, streaming video, streaming music. Use your library as a resource right now. That is the best recommendation I can make to you. And, just stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And if you're bored, maybe listen to some podcasts. If that happens to be ours, we thank you for it. So without further ado, here's a new episode.
Casing the Cover is a bi-monthly podcast series hosted by Mary and Jen. That's me. In our day-to-day experiences, Mary and I happen across numerous crappy covers, atrocious authors, and sad, sad titles. We spend a healthy amount of time decoding how cover designs can be humorously contrary to the story within, or used to lure readers based on demographic or current trends. Should you judge a book by the cover? Join Mary and Jen on the case to find out.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Casing the Cover, the podcast where even food truck drivers can be detectives.
Oh my god, this is really where we're going with this today.
That's literally what this book is about. He's actually a detective with a food truck. That's the difference, Jen.
Okay.
So last week we talked all about Patterson covers and the conventions he uses to sell his books and how prolific he is.
He's got it all covered.
He's got it all covered. And to go hand in hand with it, I read/listened to a Patterson novel.
What you got cooking, Mary?
Thank you, Jen. Thank you for repeating your bad joke. I appreciate it.
I want to make sure you don't cut it. And I want to make sure it doesn't get knifed.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I'm going to make Mary work hard this time.
I'm starting to go downhill, too. So, I read The Chef, and there's a few reasons why I chose The Chef. Oh, whose phone is buzzing? It's yours.
Not it.
Number one was because, as far as I can tell, this is so far a standalone. It is not part of any of his existing series.
But it says it's a very tasty thriller.
I know. I think that's a description of the book. Tasty Thrillers is not the series as of yet. They probably will make more of these. I don't. If it did well, they'll make more. The other reason that I picked this book is for the reason what we've discussed a few times, which is that it's got Gordon Ramsey on the cover.
It's Gordon Ramsey!
The cover of this book is much like Patterson's other books. Has his name really big on it, has the title really big on it, has a silhouetted lead character who has no face, much like romance novels. But the character on the cover does have his arms crossed. He is holding a knife. It looks like the Kitchen Nightmares logo.
It does!
But it doesn't have his face.
No, but it totally has, the cut of his jaw is totally...
He looks like Gordon Ramsay.
It's Gordon Ramsay.
He's in a little chef's coat. He's got the knife. He looks very angry and aggressive. Also, the character's name is Rooney, which is, I'm pretty sure, on purpose. And in general, my feelings of this book. Well, going into it, we'll talk about going into it. I'll read you the synopsis. So,
did you think it was going to be about Gordon Ramsay?
No. Not quite. Okay, police detective by day, celebrity food truck chef by night. Now Caleb Rooney has a new title, Most Wanted. So he is somehow a celebrity food truck owner, celebrity chef. He looks like Gordon Ramsay. His name is Rooney. He's supposed to be Gordon Ramsay. If Gordon Ramsay were also a detective.
And a food truck guy.
And living in New Orleans instead of Scotland.
Patterson, you've not only ripped off everybody else, but now you're ripping off Gordon Ramsay.
Right.
I feel like that's dangerous. Danger!
I'm going to read you the synopsis. Okay. In the carnival days leading up to Mardi Gras, Detective Caleb Rooney comes under investigation for a murder he's accused of committing in the line of duty. As a major crimes investigator for the New Orleans Police Department. Has his sideline at the Killer Chef food truck given him a taste for murder? It's called Killer Chef. It's even a food pun, like Kitchen Nightmares, like Hell's Kitchen, like To Hell and Back. All the Gordon Ramsay shows all have stupid food killer scary puns. Hotel Hell, Killer Chef. It could be one of his shows.
Isn't his restaurant in Vegas Hell's Kitchen?
Yes. It's also one of the shows.
Did you go to Hell's Kitchen?
We did not.
Oh.
We didn't make it there.
Mary got back from
We were
Vegas.
too busy walking back and forth for 3 days.
Mary doesn't like Vegas.
While fighting the charges against him, Rooney makes a pair of unthinkable discoveries. His beloved city is under threat of attack, and these would-be terrorists may be local. As crowds of revelers gather, Rooney follows a fearsome trail of clues, racing from outlying districts into the city center. He has no idea what or who he'll face in defense of his hometown. Only the innocent lives are at stake. Max DiLallo? Max DiLallo is the co-writer.
We know, Max, we know you wrote it.
Of this book. And my first impressions of it were that, yeah, this was going to be Gordon Ramsay as, like, Patterson's version of Gordon Ramsay. Which I think is what they were trying to sell this book on. I think a lot of the decisions about the character were made based on that. Like I said, it sounds like Ramsay. The name sounds like Ramsay. Killer Chef is very much in that Ramsay-esque naming.
Yes.
He looks like Gordon Ramsay on the cover. So I was expecting this to be very much like it's Gordon Ramsay, only in a Patterson novel. No. This was sold on that idea. But
you mean Patterson lied about his cover?
I mean, the character's a chef, and he's a celebrity chef in that people in New Orleans know that there's a truck, and they eat there. Like, the celebrity that you witness in this book of him being a celebrity chef is that other restaurateurs recognize him, and he has a an Instagram following, and that's like the height of his celebrity. It's not like he's not Gordon Ramsay. He doesn't have a TV show. He's not he's not Gordon Ramsay.
Not a lot of ingredients for that.
He's not Gordon Ramsay. He also is constantly leaving his truck so that he can go do detectiving.
Who he leave in charge of his truck?
His ex-wife.
His ex-wife?
His ex-wife.
This sounds like bad planning.
So
that really spices things up, though.
Not really. So the best outline I can give you of this book is detective who also has a food truck. Detective is in deep trouble because she shot a guy and killed him. Detective wins case but quits anyway because he wants to food truck only. Detective very quickly begins detectiving again and blowing off food truck, leaving it with ex-wife, while he also dogs some other restaurateur's wife. Detective / chef, because he's no longer a detective, somehow single-handedly tracks down terrorists that the entire FBI missed and immediately suspects that it's both the Arab and Hispanic guys, and it turns out it's a white guy at the end.
This is awesomely bad.
I feel like it's very much that, like, seems like to be the Patterson kind of
recipe?
Recipe. Yes, recipe. Thank you, Jen. Detective white guy, terrorists are bad, tote around a gun. This book was not written for me. This book was written for middle-aged conservative white men. I realize that. I am not those things. I'm more like one of those things. I think the celebrity chef angle was put on this book to make it market younger. That's what I think is happening, is they went,
That was the special sauce?
how do we get millennials to read this book? We'll make him Gordon Ramsay. But really, he's not Gordon Ramsay. He's just the same old boring white guy who talks a lot about alligators in food. Because they're in New Orleans, so every other sentence, when he's not talking about tracking down terrorism, it's also like po' boys, because that's what people know we eat in Louisiana.
So they just peppered in, sprinkled in.
Sprinkled in, yes.
Some New Orleans flavor.
Oh my God, you are having too much fun with these food puns, my dear.
I love that you're trying so hard to ignore them. Like, if people could see your face right now every time I make a food pun, you're trying so hard.
It hurts my soul, Jen. It hurts my soul. Oh my God, this is careening into nonsense. But yeah, this felt like they were trying to market this to a younger audience. I wonder what kind of an audience the co-writer has.
Oh yeah.
Because it seemed like they were trying to market it to a younger audience, but even like the guy in this book, the character in this book, I think they want you to think he's younger, but like the way he's written, he's a middle-aged white guy. So I mean, hot. He's got the food truck, and he's on social media, and he you know, he can get any girl in town that he wants. He can go all fancy restaurants, but he doesn't read that way. He reads like every detective in every TV show ever, like a middle-aged white guy.
Yeah.
Who's old enough to be divorced.
Well, you know, you can make mistakes early in life.
I know.
I'm just saying.
But he's old enough to like, you know, have been a detective on the force.
Okay.
And to have one marriage down the drain, and you know, and to like he's a seasoned character. Seasoned. You like that, Jen?
That was so good.
He's a seasoned person, but they want him to I think they tried to market it younger. Even like from what you can see of this person's face, he almost looks younger. He looks
younger, yes. But he's clearly not. And I will tell you,
that way.
When this book first came into the library, my impression was, oh my God, did Gordon Ramsay write a book with Patterson?
It looks like it.
I swear to you, that was I'm like, did he write a book with Patterson? Because like the Bill Clinton book had recently come out before this one.
Which I could totally see being a thing.
Right, I thought maybe Patterson's next niche was, let's get all these people.
You know what happened? They reached out and said, "Hey, Gordon Ramsay, do you want to do a Patterson book?" And he went, "Fuck no." And then they went, "Well, we'll do it without you." That was my impersonation of Gordon Ramsay.
Can't get back to... There's no coming back from that one, Mary. There's no coming back from that. Oh my goodness, that's so good.
But that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then we'll just do it without you.
Yeah.
And we'll ask one person that spent a weekend in New Orleans what they remembered about it.
Oh my God.
And then we'll put that in the book too. Like, half this book is him like, oh my God, I love New Orleans. I love how rich and cultural it is. And the other half is him being a racist. So I don't know what that's
about. About New Orleans?
No. Again, about Middle Eastern people and Hispanic people, and like the first thing he does is go, "There's terrorism? It must be the Middle Eastern guy." Literally the first thing he does.
Oh my God.
And then it turns out it's not the Middle Eastern guy, it's the rich white guy. Spoilers, it's the rich white guy with the plane.
You know how sometimes we try to avoid spoiling things for you? Not so much.
I don't even care.
It's Patterson. If you've read one Patterson, you've read them all.
Like this, I will admit, this book, it wasn't a book written for me. There's no realm in which this was a book written for me.
This is like the romance novel thing.
But at least some of that I can enjoy. Because there's part of me that's still like a girl that's into girly romancy crap. I like action movies, I like adventure movies, but something about this, it was just like, this book was not written for me. I know who this book was written for. I personally know some of them. You might be married to one. but it's not for me.
That's another Max.
It wasn't written for me. So, like, yeah.
All right, I've been holding on to this.
Tell us about the thing you found, Jen.
I found a thing.
A companion novel to The Chef.
Okay, but this is funny because I think. See, you think I'm going one way with this? I'm about to turn the knife on this one. It's funny. Wait till you hear what I'm gonna do to you. I'm gonna show you something, 2 pictures side by side that I found, and I want to know who robbed from who at this point.
Oh God.
So Joe Nesbo, who is a Norwegian
These are
writer,
both Joe Nesbo books.
wrote the book Knife.
Yes.
Or The Knife. Knife. It is just Knife. So one of the covers could be the rest of the knife from The Chef.
It's probably the exact same stock image.
Stock image of the knife that is on the Chef book. The font is the same. The color
Oh my
choice
God,
is
it
the
is.
same. But the other version, the other cover version of this novel looks nothing like it.
No, the other cover looks like a Patterson cover.
It does, but it's still like, it doesn't look anything like The Chef. So it's so interesting that this guy, but yeah, it does. It has the silhouette, walking away, the bridge, and it has,
Wow.
it's a Patterson novel. He's Norway Patterson.
Norwegian Patterson. Oh my God.
You thought I was going somewhere else with this. You thought I was going to say that Patterson stole his cover.
No, I thought you were going to say you should read them one after the other because it's probably a spiritual sequel, or that Gordon,
spiritual sequel.
or that Gordon Ramsay's telling a lot of people to fuck off.
But this kind of, it really blows my mind that, like, does Patterson have is it Patterson's look that now these guys who write these
Probably.
books have gone, oh my God, because Patterson is international. We talked
I would
about
say
that.
that's more likely just because of how prolific he is and because of what a bestseller he is. I think it'd be easier to assume that this cover, the Chef cover, was made to look like a different popular thing to hit a different age group, and this book that looks like a James Patterson cover is meant to look like a James Patterson cover because it's that, well, if you like James Patterson, you might like Joe Nesbo.
Yes.
So they're basically the same book. And frankly, let me tell you, I work reference desk at a library. That's how people's brains work.
It is. It
This one looks like that other one I read. It's probably the same.
But, okay, so Joe Nesbo's book is also an international bestseller.
We get a lot of Nesbo here. Yeah.
40 million books sold worldwide. Okay, but I gotta tell you, man, when naming your characters, I know you're Norwegian.
Oh, God.
I know you're Norwegian, and you probably don't have the pun, the bad innuendo that goes with this. I don't even know if I can do this. It's a new Harry Hole thriller.
It's not even a cooking pun.
Harry Hole.
It's awful.
That is the name of this character. I don't know if it is translated from Norwegian because Nesbo's books are translated from Norwegian.
Do you think his translator was mad at him that day?
If he was, he lost his job the next day. I hope he's okay. Because, oh my gosh. Like, who does this? Don't do that. I'm not the only, like, mentally 12-year-old boy in the room,
No.
okay, right? Like, that's too
Harry
on the
Hole
nose.
is the kind of name you give a character who's in a Patterson parody movie.
So is that it?
Like,
Is he
like a
writing,
detective parody.
Is he writing Patterson
No,
parodies?
probably not. He's probably very serious about
Would
what
that
he's
be a
writing.
parody? What would that be? I can't even anymore.
Wow, she's gone. She's completely lost it. We've lost her.
We lost Jen. Oh my gosh. But see, like, yeah. I can't even. Oh, and look. Okay, so This is the American one. This is the one we have in the library. That's probably shelved really close to the knife, or the shelf. But like, this is the one that's in another language.
Oh, it's a different kind of knife.
It's a different kind of knife. It doesn't look anything like the Patterson
It's a more
one.
choppy knife.
It's a choppy knife.
Instead-
Also, the
instead
cover
of a
is
slicing
cracked,
knife.
and there's like a reflection in it. And yeah, so, okay, Nesbo, I had a lot of faith in you, and now I don't. I think you're just playing Patterson game.
When was this book published?
I will look up when it was published. But, I mean, so Patterson books in general, though, are for a typical type of person.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think there's some books that he's published that are kind of like, you can tell this is the book that I wrote for women. Because I got a woman to write it for me. Like, you can kind of tell that there's some of that in his books, but I think all of his characters are pretty formulaic. And they speak to a certain kind of sensibility. And I'm not saying that you can't like Patterson. If Patterson is your jam, fine. You'll never run out of things to read. It'll be fine for you.
Right.
Same year.
Yeah, same year. July 9th. So when did this one come out? When did the stuff come out? Do you want me to look that up?
Yeah, probably something.
I will look that up. So you keep talking about Patterson, who actually does write for people because he's not writing for people.
Well, but like if you like a Patterson novel, if it's your gig, he's published 1,000 of them. It's not like you're ever gonna run out of material to read. So if you want to read this like this, it's fine. It's just like a romance novel or a
Patterson published in February.
Wow.
And Nesbo published in July.
Yeah, that's about the time. February is when they made a decision what cover they're putting on that American edition of that book.
Yep.
That's exactly when.
Nice
Yeah.
play, Nesbo.
It's definitely, that's the publishers trying to make it look like he's a Patterson novel. In both cases. In both the more generic cover and the knife cover.
Oh my gosh. So
he's written some of his other stuff too.
DiLallo, you are owned. You are owned by him.
He wrote Zoo too.
Wow.
DiLallo
wrote Zoo, wrote 113 minutes, which is also a Patterson book shot, which means that DiLallo pooped this out in a weekend.
He's written some of the...
No, those are just more by Patterson's. But that is really interesting. Yep. Mr. DiLallo, you have been bought by Patterson. I hope he's paying you well.
This cover model looks like he's got a big nose. He does.
Oh, maybe it is Gordon Ramsay. Do you think that
He's also got stubble on his chin.
Do you think they just got Gordon Ramsay to do this?
No.
Or like they just stole the Kitchen Nightmares? You keep saying that it's Gordon Ramsay because it's Kitchen Nightmares.
It's the Kitchen Nightmares pose. Look it up. My computer's not working. Also, the movie Chef. He's doing the same pose. That movie's really good, by the way.
Wait, there's a movie called Chef?
Yes.
Are the guys doing the same pose?
Yes, that's the official.
That's the official chef pose. You gotta cross your arms and stick your knife out. Wait, what are we doing again? Uh-oh.
No, my internet decided it wanted to do something.
Oh, okay. I'm like, did we just lose this? What's going on?
No, which is fine because we're not going to be able to do this again anyway.
So, Patterson is basically like...
There's the pose.
There's the pose.
There's the pose.
Yeah.
That is the Gordon Ramsay pose that he's
I'm telling
doing.
you, though, that is Gordon Ramsay. Put Kitchen Nightmares.
Gordon Ramsay pose. Gordon Ramsay pose. It is. Kitchen Nightmares.
Dude, Gordon Ramsay with a knife.
This is very interesting for our listeners.
It is, because think about this. Like, I want you to think about, and I've watched Gordon Ramsay Kitchen Nightmares. Not really watched it, but like had it on in the background.
These are all like weird like.
But
there's him with a butcher knife.
That's creepy with a butcher knife.
That's
He
like
still kind
the
of a
same
creepy
pose
man.
though.
But I'm telling you, that's Gordon Ramsay. You can't tell me it's not.
It's not Gordon Ramsay because there's no way they got his imagery for it. They got someone that looked like Gordon Ramsay.
Maybe they got Gordon Ramsay, but they flogged it out
his face. No, that's not his face. Because he has huge sideburns. And that guy doesn't have sideburns.
They could have edited
That's not
it.
Gordon Ramsay's face. He's also younger than Gordon Ramsay.
They made him younger. They photoshopped him.
It's not Gordon Ramsay.
They photoshopped him. They did a cut and paste.
No, Jen. What this is stock footage from a romance website, and they went under "sexy chef" and just pasted it onto the front of this.
I'm gonna look up sexy
Because it does. It looks like a headless romance novel. Like he doesn't have a face.
It does.
He is facing the reader, which is not common for Patterson covers. Usually facing away.
But he's still a silhouette.
I'm really disappointed he's not running away from his exploding taco truck or whatever it is. It's not a taco truck. It's a food truck.
Clearly, it's not a taco truck because he's too racist to have a taco
It's a
truck.
po' boy truck. He's selling alligators and duck fat and crap.
What?
I don't remember. He eats
Duck
all
fat
of
or foie gras?
No, he's frying things in duck fat.
Ugh.
And then he eats a lot of alligator.
Why?
I don't know, because they're
Alligator's
in New
not even
Orleans.
that good.
And it's all you can eat there, apparently.
Oh my gosh,
He
I
talks
should
way
not
too much about food in this book.
have typed in sexy chef romance. I really should not have done that. There's some really weird stuff
And the
here.
woman in every single one of these is a waitress.
Maybe it's him.
Oh, might be him.
Maybe it's
That's probably him.
Intercepting the chef. Maybe it's that
It's
one.
the same man. Probably.
Maybe that's him.
Maybe his entire career is playing a chef.
Oh my gosh, all of this is so
There's
bad.
not as many chef romances as you think.
No.
More velociraptor romances.
More velociraptor. This just took a turn.
Let's not do the
there.
romance
No,
rant
no,
again.
No. Let's.
But yeah, so that's my feelings of the chef in general.
I really thought you were gonna have more about is it formulaic?
It's very formulaic. Oh, it's super formulaic. It's that setup, cop in trouble. I'm quitting the force. La 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 la. Walk away. And then oh no, they keep dragging you back in, and you go rogue. You find the bad guys because you're rogue. And there's always someone watching him that wants to get him, and they kidnap his girlfriend, and then she's cheating on her husband, but it's okay because he's a bad person, and so it's okay that she's sleeping with him instead of her own husband, and it's fine. And then he knows who it is, but it turns out it's not that person. And then he knows who it is, but it's not that person either. And then he finds a drug house, and then it's not that person. And then guns, and explosions, and racing the clock, and he makes the plane crash, and he catches the guy.
So what you're saying is there's an egg timer on this whole thing, and his goose is cooked, and I'm really trying to throw in as many of these as I can. I'm scrambling, Mary. I'm scrambling.
Oh my god. Yes, he followed his recipe.
You followed his recipe.
But yeah, it's very much, and then at the end, he becomes a private detective with his new lady friend, and he's happy. And
So what happens to the ex-wife then? Does she?
she's just there. They're divorced, and they make sure you know that. They say about 10 times a chapter that she's his ex-wife. But they get along, so it's fine, and she doesn't care that the new girlfriend's in the truck. And they're all friends, and they have a business together even though they're divorced.
Okay.
And so they run the truck together.
I feel that makes some sense, but maybe it should be her celebrity food truck instead of his.
Right?
Right? Come on, go do your cop thing and let her.
And he's the cook, but she's the face, and
Yeah.
Also, there's a gang that's chasing him the whole book because he shot one of their gang members, and he's in trouble for it at the beginning of the book. And then it barely comes up the whole book, and at the end they're fine because he saved New Orleans, so they don't care that he shot their friend anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And also parade floats because it's in New Orleans.
Of course. Parade floats.
Uh-huh.
Also beads.
Yes, beads.
My speeds. Beads. Lots of beads.
Yeah. It's not for me. So, Jen, I would like to start our tradition of we didn't like this thing, let's recommend something better. Do you have
Okay.
anything to recommend?
Yes, because I recently finished reading Jack Townsend's book, Tales from the Gas Station, and I really would like to at some point talk about that book because he is a small press published.
Okay.
Or he may be like self-published. His whole book is based on like blog posts that he did. So like I guess his blog exists.
About gas stations?
It's very Lovecraft. It's
Okay.
very that sort of mythos. And like you know what my heart is with the indie published people and like the small press people. If done well. Like I know some people that like this is not good, don't do that. And I've made mistakes too in the past. Like it's true, it's a thing. But this is really well done. And I read it as kind of a palate cleanser to that romance novel. So going from bestseller to nobody knows who the hell this dude is.
But it's actually good.
It's so good. It's really good. So Jack Townsend, Tales from the Gas Station. I won't give away too much because I would like people to read it, and then when I review it, then I'm not spoiling it.
Okay.
So I also really like Lovecraft sort of stuff. I like that.
You love crafting?
I love crafting.
I'm going to sit here with that smile on my face. Because I stole a pun from a t-shirt. I will recommend The Movie Chef because it's really cute.
Yeah.
It's a Jon Favreau movie. He's this fancy man chef. He's in one of those fancy Michelin restaurants, and he kind of has a meltdown, and kind of has to like start his life over because he gets fired, and his ex-wife and his kid are kind of estranged from him, and so to get his life back together, he starts a food truck and he makes Cuban food, and it's very cute. I'm telling you a good story about a chef with a food truck, Jen.
Yeah, but this sort of sounds like what this should have been.
He's not a detective. He just goes around the country with his kid and he makes good food and he, starts over. And it's a really cute movie to the point that it has been...
It's got a lot of soul.
It's got a lot of soul. No, mostly pork. It's also been like, if you ever watch Binging with Babish, which is a YouTube channel, you should watch it. It's wonderful. Okay. He's very inspired by this film. He got to meet Jon Favreau on an episode of The Chef Show, which is a Netflix show that Jon Favreau does where he talks to actual people who cook. It's it's like an interview kind of a show.
So Favreau is not a cook people.
He's a movie maker person.
Okay.
He directed the first Iron Man movie.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
This cycles back to our conversation about the that we maybe don't want to bring up ever again.
No. We'll just allude to it. It doesn't exist. But yeah. So he then made this, the show was kind of inspired by the movie, but he actually talks to real chefs.
This is kind of cool.
So The Movie Chef is very cute. I don't think it's on Netflix right now, but if you...
But you can get it at your local library.
Probably. I think that's what I'm going to do when we're done with this. Because I want to watch that movie now. It's a cute movie. It's really cute. And Sofia Vergara's in it, and she makes me laugh because they play up the fact that she can't pronounce things, which is not a very nice thing to laugh at, but it's still fun.
That's not very nice. Because you guys pick on me for how I pronounce things sometimes.
Plus, she's like super pretty, and I'm really jealous of Sofia Vergara. Because she's like gorgeous.
Are you jealous, or are you like, my goodness, I don't know if I want to be her or want her kind of thing?
No, I'm definitely jealous because this woman, she has a kid that's like my age, and that's how she looks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just saw the face you made. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, but my kid's pretty close to your age.
also a separate recommendation from that. Watch the SNL bit where it's her and Kate McKinnon as Penelope Cruz, and they're trying to sell shampoo, and Sofia Vergara gets all the easy words, so she says like sexy, pretty, and then Kate McKinnon has to say like anti-phosphorus. And she can't pronounce it. It's very funny. I think that's all I have to say.
I think this has been a pretty good month of episodes on Patterson and
We'll move on from him now.
Oh my god.
We've only been talking about him for like a year without actually talking about him.
But it had to be done. We had to do this. We had to bite the bullet.
It did.
And do this because he is as prolific as he is. And for as much as we rag him, dude, as far as the business of writing is concerned, you found the magic recipe for that.
He's a good, you guys give him that. He's a good businessman.
Yeah. Brilliant at the business, formulaic at the writing, but that's how you become brilliant at the business. Is just feed people.
Most of these super prolific writers are.
Yeah.
A lot of them have a thing that they follow that works for them, and that's how they pump out 4 books a year.
Yeah, and I will say, like, we'll end on kind of a literary note. Mark Twain said that, you know, he doesn't write wine, he writes water, because everybody drinks water.
This isn't water.
Well,
This is like...
bad bourbon.
This is like Miller Lite.
There wasn't Miller Lite when Twain was around. I don't think.
No.
Probably not. But it's the same point. Point made.
Also, I don't think Mark Twain was writing water either.
Well, yeah, he didn't write anything that was like highbrow. He was writing stuff that was. Everybody's like, oh, he's literary, but he wrote about like kids floating
Mark
on the river.
Twain's not literary. He's hilarious.
He is, but it's what everybody reads.
Yeah, I guess so. Some people can't handle Twain. He's too clever for that.
I love it. We'll do a
Mark Twain episode. Sure.
We'll do something
do
that's
that.
a little more vintage. Connecticut Yankee. Oh, I haven't read that in so long. We gotta read that
I
one.
intended to read that when I was like in 4th grade.
Oh god, that's
and
such a good one.
Went over my head. Of course, that was also the time that my father made me read Kidnapped, which, be in 4th grade and read an unabridged version of Kidnapped.
Okay, before we pick on your dad again, because I feel like he gets called out. Your dad and my husband, we called him out a lot on this show, I feel like.
His intentions were good. It was like, you will like this. It's an adventure story. And I probably would have if I wasn't in 4th grade. It was too much for me. It's a story for another time.
A story for another time. All right.
That's the whole story, so not really, but okay. All right. I think that's it for us. We are tired today, man. I just got back from vacation. I don't know what Jen's problem is.
I have a lot of shows coming up.
Jen's dying inside. She's performing.
I'm performing. Yeah,
She's dancing. She's
dancing, sword fighting. 2.5 minutes is a really long time for a solid sword fight.
Oh.
Respect your lightsaber people.
Yeah,
Because
right.
even though this round of lightsaber people is not real good at what they're doing, they're still busting butt when they're out there.
Lightsaber people.
Yeah, the Star Wars peeps. This round of actors doing Star Wars, man, you can tell that this is the first time they have done any kind of like sword stuff.
Are these the same people that I might have seen a few years ago at local conventions?
No, this is like the people in the movies.
Oh, and I thought you meant like a local group.
No, these actors are like you can tell they're doing their damnedest. They're doing great.
Oh, don't get me started on Star Wars, Jen.
An episode for another time.
No.
Because then we can talk about Michael Stackpole.
Let's not.
I might have an author crush on.
Let's not do Star Wars. Okay. Quick aside. Who was it that
This whole episode has been side
I was talking
dishes.
to recently that was talking about how the Last Jedi ruined Star Wars.
No.
It was a coworker of ours was telling me how that one was the one that ruined Star Wars. And I was like, I'm pretty sure Star Wars has been ruined since it started.
Oh,
It was
no.
A New Hope, and then they made the Christmas special, and then they made Return of the Jedi and what's the other one? Empire Strikes Back, and then they made the prequels.
Yes.
And then
I think maybe we should stop you there.
for every good Star Wars thing, there's a mediocre Star Wars thing and a crap Star Wars thing.
Because there must be balance in the Force.
It's the legacy of Star Wars. It's necessary.
It's the balance in the Force. I think on that we have unbalanced this episode. A little.
Also, it's really stupid that Rey had a double-sided lightsaber and she never lit up the other end. I'm done. Goodbye.
Bye!
Thank you so much for cracking another case with Mary and Jen. To learn more about Casing the Cover, follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Casing the Cover. To contact us or suggest a book, email casingthecoverpod@gmail.com. New episodes of Casing the Cover release the second and fourth Tuesday on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher.